Hello everyone, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course the law of attraction. Today we're going to be talking about 5 signs someone is thinking of you. If it seems impossible to know this because common knowledge tells us you can't really tell whether or not another person is thinking of you, but I want you to just think about all the times in your life you've reached for your phone to text someone and then instantly gotten a message from them, or thought about wanting to talk to a person and then suddenly they were calling you. You may have thought of these as coincidences, but most likely you've had them happen to you too often to just be written off as pure chance. What these experiences really were was your subconscious mind processing energetic messages coming from these other people. Because the truth is, although we are separated into different physical bodies, we are all connected to one mind on a higher level, on an energetic level. This is sometimes even referred to as collective consciousness. What's interesting about this collective consciousness is that as we become aware of it and aware of our place in it and our connection to everyone else within it, we can then learn to consciously identify signs that can give us windows of insight into not only whether or not another person is thinking of us within this collective consciousness, within this one mind, but also even how they are feeling about us. So maybe if you're interested, I could make a separate video that goes more into the specifics of how specifically someone is thinking of you, what emotion they are attaching to the thoughts of you. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to just focus on 5 very easy to identify simple signs that you will be able to start recognizing as soon as after you're done listening to this podcast. In fact, listening to these signs, you may even realize you've experienced many of these in the past and just not consciously connected it that this person could have been thinking about you. And that could have been what was causing these signs to happen to you. I want to first lay an energetic basis for why these signs happen, why it's possible for us to receive these energy messages, these so-called telepathic messages from others. But before I get into the nitty-gritty details of this video, I first want to give a quick shout out to my website and passion project, Sound and Soulful. On this website, I have created a library of over 100 subliminal meditation tracks for all areas of life. I became so passionate about subliminals because I have used this and found more success with this as a manifestation tool than with anything else I've ever tried. And I've been trying so many different techniques for years. So just to backtrack and share some of my personal experience, I learned about the law of attraction several years ago. I watched all kinds of videos just like the one you're watching now, and I tried to glean all of this information on techniques I could use, positive thinking techniques, visualization techniques, even spoken affirmations. I feel like I tried virtually everything but saw very few results. I always just felt like there was this invisible force holding me back. And I didn't know it at the time, but that invisible force that was, so to speak, holding me back metaphorically from manifesting was my own subconscious mind, and specifically my subconscious negative thoughts that were preventing me from truly shifting my vibration. And so once I started listening to subliminals to address these unconscious negative thoughts, things began to change for me very fast. I have used subliminals to manifest my twin flame relationship and a physical union with this person, to manifest my dream career, amazing relationships with my friends and family, to manifest my dream living environment. I also lost 20 pounds by listening to subliminals. And these are really just the tip of the iceberg of the kinds of immense, drastic changes I experienced through beginning to incorporate subliminals into my meditation routine. So As you can see on the screen, I've created subliminals for all kinds of areas of life, for physical changes, for mood shifts like confidence and happiness, to manifest a specific person, to manifest money, business success, for virtually anything you can imagine. So to try out any of the more than 100 subliminals I've created, be sure to check out the description box or the pinned comment where I will be leaving a link you can use to sign up for a 7-day free trial account on my site. Okay, so let's dive right back into 5 signs someone is thinking about you. And like I said, I do want to just start by saying the reason that these are signs is because all of our minds are connected through this one mind, this collective consciousness. So whenever, it's kind of like a web, whenever one part of the web produces a vibration, it is felt by the whole, it is felt by every other individual mind. Whenever someone is thinking a thought, we are actually capable of picking up on this thought. Because as Napoleon Hill famously says in his book, Think and Grow Rich, thoughts are things. And in this case, thoughts are very real, very discernible vibrations that are released into the ether, into the atmosphere, put out into the universe. So any thought put out there, we are actually capable of receiving, which also is the basis for those of you who are empaths, for being able to pick up on other people's energy. You're really receiving all of this energetic information they are releasing into the universe, into the ether, mostly through the form of their thoughts, either the conscious thoughts or the unconscious thoughts. Now, the reason it is actually very simple to begin noticing when someone is thinking about us is because we are, by design, more capable of receiving thoughts that are specifically connected to us. It's almost as though every time someone thinks about us, we can really feel this thought being directed at us, because this thought, when you think about it, is really being pushed in our direction. They aren't just putting a thought out into the universe. They're putting it out there and then directing it toward us. Whether they mean it to reach us or not doesn't really matter. They are putting the thought out there with us as kind of an idea behind the thought, attached to the thought. So it's much more likely to reach our own subconscious mind, which is why even people who don't have many kinds of psychic or esoteric experiences will often still find that they are a little bit psychic when it comes to knowing whether or not a certain person is thinking about them. I mean, who hasn't had the experience, like I said earlier, of picking up the phone, thinking about calling someone, and then that person calling them? Nearly all of us have had some weird psychic experiences like that, where it's almost as though we knew that someone was thinking about us, or on the flip side, someone else seemed to know that we were thinking about them. So the first sign someone is thinking about you, this is actually something that happens in their presence, not in their absence. So this will only apply if you're in the same physical environment as this person. But if you are, let's say you're at a restaurant and you're wondering if the waiter or waitress may be thinking about you. Oftentimes when someone is thinking about us, we will feel some kind of strange physical sensation. I don't want to leave this too general, so I'll try to give specific examples. But for example, we could feel our cheeks suddenly burning red. This is a very common symptom someone is thinking of you. Or our heart could suddenly start pounding faster. Now, all of these energetic, or I should say all of these physical symptoms have an energetic root cause. What is happening is our subconscious mind, our energy field, is receiving energy from this person, because anytime someone is thinking about us, what they're really doing is sending us energy that we are then picking up and interpreting through our mind and through our physical body in certain specific ways. This is why our cheeks can start burning red, our heart can start pounding, we might feel a little dizzy or lightheaded if someone is directing a lot of intense energy in our direction and we're in the same room as them especially. Now, I should say this can happen when you are at a distance from a person. I want to explain because, so when I said earlier you should be in the same room as this person, the reason I said that is because to put it frankly, if you're in the same room as the person, it may be easier for you to tell whether or not they're thinking of you because they're right there. Whereas if these sensations, these physical sensations happen to you completely out of the blue, it may be harder for you to attach it to a specific person. So yes, you are capable of feeling some of these physical sensations, feeling your cheeks burning red, lightheaded, feeling your heart pound when someone is thinking of you even from 1,000 miles away. It's just that you probably were less likely to consciously notice it. You probably just wrote it off as a random sign or symptom and maybe weren't able to attach it to a specific person. The second sign someone is thinking of you is one of the more esoteric and symbolic signs, but one that is very real and powerful and meaningful. And this is if you are dreaming very frequently about the same person. And now I do need to leave a little disclaimer here because as we know, dreams can take on many different forms and types. I talk a lot about dreams on this channel because there are just so many different forms of dreams we can experience. Some of our dreams are actual astral meetings, real dream shared meetings and experiences with other souls on the planet. Other dreams are just our own unconscious mind playing out our own fears, anxieties, or really anything else. It could just be our own mind healing, playing through things, playing through scenarios in order to assist us in our own healing and growth. Other times we could receive dream messages and signs directly from the universe, from our guides, from our higher self. But in this case, I'm talking about dreams where you aren't really thinking of this person during the day. In fact, maybe you're not thinking about them at all. So this can't just be your unconscious mind playing out scenarios you've been thinking about because you haven't even been consciously thinking of this person. But because this person has been thinking of you very intensely, sending all this energy to you, the best way I can put it is their energy kind of gets stuck in your own energy field. And as we sleep, our conscious mind is completely dormant and our subconscious mind is wide open, much more impressionable. So really, this person is sending energy to you all day and all night long, anytime they are thinking about you. It's just that oftentimes the conscious mind kind of acts as a filter. So during the day, you would be less likely to receive conscious visions, conscious messages from this person, unless you are very in tune with your own intuition. But at night, your conscious mind is dormant, so you are much more capable of receiving these conscious messages from this person through the subconscious mind, of becoming really aware of this person in your energy field, of this person sending you all of this energy in the form of their thoughts about you. So especially, again, pay attention to these dreams most closely if you are dreaming consistently about someone that you never think about, because this is definitely an indication that some kind of energy is being exchanged subconsciously between you and this person. Sign number 3 someone is thinking of you is really the sign that I find easiest to identify. This is suddenly getting the urge, and I mean the conscious urge, to reach out to this person that you maybe haven't spoken to in a long time, that you don't maybe talk to frequently, or that you weren't actually thinking about calling or talking to, or maybe someone that you didn't even want to reconnect with. I know this sounds a little weird, so let me elaborate. Let's say, for example, there is an ex-lover, someone you used to have a relationship with, used to be really close with, and you broke up and it's been years since you dated and you really got out of touch with each other. And let's say that you are happily in a different relationship. Well, this can be really confusing because even if you have no interest or desire in reaching out to your ex, if they begin to intensely and especially emotionally think about you, miss you, wonder how you are, your subconscious mind can pick up their energy and consciously interpret it. And then the conscious mind gets confused because it doesn't know that this energy is coming from this external source, from this other person. It thinks that you are generating the thoughts of this person yourself. Now, I could make a whole separate video on how this can really confuse your emotions, especially if you are someone who is very empathic, very intuitive, very in touch with your subconscious mind. It's very easy to mistake someone else's energy they're sending to you as your own energy. But again, that would need its whole own space in a separate video. I could talk a lot more about that. But if you find yourself suddenly just getting this very strong urge to text, to call someone, to follow someone on social media that you haven't really had any interest in connecting with or talking to, this is a very good sign that they've been thinking of you. The fourth sign someone is thinking of you is, and this is a weird one, so I am going to have to explain this, but frequently seeing someone that looks like them. Like if you're out in a crowd and you see someone and you think, oh my gosh, is that so-and-so, or is that this person from my past? There's no way I could be seeing them right now. And it happens to you more than once or multiple times. Again, especially if you haven't been thinking of this person a lot consciously, or alternatively, if you're just seeing things everywhere that suddenly make you remember them, or that remind you of them. Some kind of symbol, a sign, maybe you hear the name of their exact city and it's some kind of small town, or you keep meeting people with their first name or just seeing their first name everywhere. These can be signs that this person is thinking of you, and let me explain why. It all comes down to how the conscious mind interprets energy. So part of how the conscious mind interprets energy is through what it notices. So basically, when your conscious mind starts to notice, pick out these people from a crowd that look like this person who is thinking of you. Pick out the name of their city that you see on a billboard. Really what's happening is your energy, or I should say your attention, is being directed in these specific directions toward thoughts that remind you of this person. Because unconsciously you are receiving this energy in the form of thoughts from this person. Again, this all happens very unconsciously. And one way your conscious mind can interpret these thoughts, this energy, is through directing you toward things that will remind you of that specific person, whether this is causing you to look in the direction of people that look similar to them, causing you to see that billboard with the name of their city on them. It's all about how the conscious mind directs our focus to bring certain things to our attention. And finally, the fifth sign that someone is thinking of you is hearing song lyrics that connect directly to them. This is another hyper-specific sign, but it's one that I have experienced very frequently, but I feel is very little talked about. So let's say in the example of the ex thinking about you, again, let's use the same scenario. You dated years ago, you're in a happy relationship with someone else, but a song comes on the radio, and I don't mean like it was your song with that person. I mean just some random love song. And one of the lyrics jumps out at you, and you feel it so strongly connect with this specific person from your past that it's almost uncanny, and you think, I feel like this person is speaking to me through the lyric of this song. And it may cause you to even feel emotional, even though you have no longing to reconnect with them, you haven't been thinking about them, but this lyric just takes you to them. It just directly connects you to them. This, again, just like the previous sign I mentioned, is another way that the conscious mind is interpreting energetic messages coming from this person. Now, this is also where we can interestingly get into the specifics of how they feel about you, because sometimes you may find that the lyrics connect with exactly how this person is feeling about you while they think about you in that moment. So, for example, maybe the love song is really happy, and the lyric could be interpreted as very happy, but for some reason when you hear it, it makes you really sad. That could be a sign that the person is thinking adoringly, lovingly, but also longingly and sadly back at some kind of previous experience you shared together within the relationship. So just to give you a little window of insight, because I know many of you will ask, again, I may create a whole separate video on how to tell what emotion that person is feeling while they think about you. But if you would like kind of a sneak peek on that, Pay attention to how you feel as you see that person in the crowd that looks like them, as you feel the desire to reach out to them. Do you feel happy? Do you feel in love? Do you feel excited? Do you feel sad? Do you feel nostalgic? Do you feel bitter? However you feel could be an indicator of what kind of emotional energy that person is attaching to those thoughts about you. So I hope this video was interesting or insightful for you in figuring out how to interpret these kinds of strange signs and experiences we can have as we connect with someone energetically who is sending some type of energy to us, either positive or negative, in the form of their thoughts about us. If I did resonate with you, please subscribe to this channel, join our community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. I hope you have a wonderful, magical rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again in the next